Dr. Ge, the UN Human Rights Commission has published a report concluding that Israel has been committing genocide in Gaza. This is now some almost 2 years after October 7th. I'm just curious as to your response to that determination.
It's a significant one where, the United Nations, through its independent commission on the human rights abuses happening in occupied Palestine, have been hard at work for about almost 2 years, coming to this conclusion. And it takes a lot of legal evidence and investigation work to be able to come to a conclusion like this. I was at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, meeting with some of the people that were working on this just a few months ago. And I know how much work went into this. So I appreciate the few people that did the majority of heavy lifting on such a significant finding, but also the people that put in the evidence. And those were healthcare workers, Palestinian ones in Gaza that provided those pieces of evidence, as well as many others, including my own colleagues, healthcare workers from around the world who have worked in Gaza during this genocide. But we also know, or at least I also know, that the United Nations is not, the moral authority in the world on what is right and wrong. If we, listen to the people who are oppressed and colonized in this world, in the context of Palestine, the Palestinians, they would have told us, and they have been telling us from day one, that what they were experiencing was genocide.
So is this declaration meaningless? Or rather, what does it mean?
I think it means if states and governments around the world, such as Canada, are a member state of the United Nations and recognize the authority of the United Nations and recognize the importance of international law, then they need to align themselves with their obligations under international law. And if Canada says and does what it emulates to this world, that is, it's aligned with international law and human rights, then I think it needs to fulfill those obligations under international law, which is aligning itself with its own obligations that the International Court of Justice has already ruled twice last year on the illegality of Israel's illegal occupation in Palestine and plausible genocide. And with this, the necessary things that states and governments must do is to end their own complicity, because we've failed to prevent genocide. There are legal instruments in this world for the punishment and the prevention of genocide. We've failed to prevent. Now we have to stop it and we have to punish it. So if Canada were to be serious about its commitments to international law and human rights, it would stop sending arms to Israel. It would do everything within its power, including sanctions on Israel, to be able to pressure that government, that state, to stop committing genocide.
You've been listening to a clip of In Bed with the Elephant with me, your host, Adrian Harewood. Be sure to check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. And please be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast and write a review. We love hearing from you.